Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the El Toro's podcast, exclusively now on Anchor.fm. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Here, let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on things like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast, which is always a plus, with no minimum listenership. And it's everything you need to make a podcast right at your fingertips and in one place. I can't believe it took me this long to switch over to Anchor.fm, but I couldn't be happier now. So, get yourself started and download the free Anchor app now, or go to Anchor.fm to get started.
Well, here I am. This is Batman, and you're listening to El Toro's podcast. So tell me, do you bleed? You will.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another edition of El Toro's podcast. I am your host El Toro, and it is Wednesday, February the 22nd of 2017. And you guys noticed that I actually took a little bit of time of putting this podcast together with a special intro from none other than the Dark Knight himself, Batman. Shouts out to Mr. Batman right then and there. And the little intro that has been unavailable for quite a while. I'll explain the reasons why that has a little bit more into detail right about now. So, as all of you know, I work quite a lot lately. My new job has me very, very busy, and podcasting has taken sort of a back seat for the most part, at least to the extent of how much I actually want to put into it, as far as, tweaking a few things here and there, adding some music, and so on and so forth. And in order to keep my listeners, obviously, I want to try to get a podcast out then and there. So a lot of the music hasn't been included, as you've noticed from the start of me podcasting up until right now, current day. So I like using the SoundCloud recorder app on my Android phone, or just using a basic notes recorder app on my iPhone, record the podcast, make sure the volume is good, since I've had a couple of issues already with the volume, and tweak things here and there, and then just upload it right away, just so the podcast is out and available for all of you to listen to. Today, due to unforeseeable circumstances, I've actually was unable to go into work today, and I've figured, let me take this opportunity, no better time than the present, than to record a podcast right now and include all the music, include everything that I want to put in here, and take the detailed time that I usually want to put into a podcast for you guys, the listeners. And shout out to everybody who's been following on my SoundCloud account and liking the tracks and sharing the tracks and listening to the tracks. Thanks to you guys, I can continue doing this and sharing my stories, my experiences, and practically my regular day bullshit with you guys, and this is sort of my way of therapy. Um, and the fact that you guys actually want to listen to my bullshit and the things that I have to say is huge shout out to you. Thank you for the love and the support. So, elephant out of the room. Let me get this out of the way right now. Uh, this past weekend was probably the most difficult weekend I've actually had to endure. I'm going to try to get this out without sounding like the little bitch that I've been sounding like the past few days. But a week and change ago, my little dog, Charlie, was a Lhasa Apso, 15 years old. He has been doing just fine. And then in a week's time, he wasn't as active as he once was. We started noticing that he wasn't eating as much, to the point where he wasn't eating practically at all. He was drinking a lot of water, and his bowel movement was sort of non-existent, so it was kind of like watery but not really diarrhea. And then when he did have a bowel movement, it was pitch black, like black, black, black. And that's usually not a good sign, because when you see black poop, that means he's pooping blood. So we figured, okay, he might have actually eaten something that didn't agree with him and it hasn't passed through, so let's let it go for a little bit. And then we started noticing blood. But because he has long nails, I haven't had a chance to clip his nails, because he really doesn't like his paws being clipped or touched, for that matter. I figured, okay, he may have scratched himself. He scratched himself pretty bad, because we did find like a nice scratch, not a nice scratch, but a bad scratch on his neck area. Then he may have just scratched himself, cut himself open. He started licking it, and then the blood was pretty much right there, which is what we thought. And I says, okay, you know what? Let me make the appointment for the vet. I'm hoping that it's nothing too serious, that it's probably something that he may have eaten, and like I said, it didn't pass. One of the dogs I used to know, he would eat stuffing. Like, he would either grab like a pillow and eat the stuffing from inside the pillow, or he would find like a towel, rip the towel apart, and all those little fibers actually got caught in his intestinal tract. And they had to actually do some surgery, open them up, take out all that stuff in there, and it was practically like a couple of pounds of stuffing that never passed through. So I was hoping that it was something similar to this. Come Saturday morning, because the appointment was this past Saturday, I was able to figure out a way to make time to ask the doctor to see him on Saturday. Saturday the 18th. That's what it was. It was Saturday 18th, February 18th, 2017. And okay, so we had the appointment. We're gonna go get him, take a look at, and all of a sudden, I feel something dripping in my hand, and we're noticing blood is coming out of his mouth. And that's usually really not a good sign if he starts bleeding from the mouth. But I thought it was like his nose. He may have scratched his nose, but it was really coming from his mouth. So I was already dreading the worst. I mean, he's 15 years old. And, all right. So we get to the doctor. The doctor sees us. I explain everything that's going on. And he takes Charlie to the back to get some tests done, so draw some blood. And he comes back, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes later. He told me that he had a seizure. He was shaking, and that it put two and two together. That I noticed that he was sort of shaking here in the house, but I honestly thought it's because, since his eyesight has been not really well, that he was shaking just to make sure he wouldn't run into the wall, because his hair, since he had a lot of hair, would touch him and he would think that he's hitting into something. So in order to avoid it, he's like making sure he doesn't hit anything. But the second he said that he was having a seizure, and I told him the symptoms, that he's drinking a lot of water, he's not eating it much, and his poop is black, he pretty much told me and confirmed, since the blood is coming out of his mouth and not from his nose, not due to any scratches, that he's probably having some kidney failure, which broke my heart. This entire time, this poor dog, week, that entire week, he's been sort of suffering because he hasn't been able to eat solid food. He's having a seizure when I thought he was just trying to avoid contact with the wall because he can barely see. And and the doctor tells me this is like science. So he told me that he could probably leave him overnight, that Saturday evening to Sunday morning, and leave him on an IV drip. And if it is kidney failure, then he would probably have to go on medication, which may or may not work. And in my heart, in my head, they were so conflicted and thinking all the things that could, what do I want to do? Do I want to put him through this? Do I want him to go through more pain and suffering if he is going through any pain or suffering? And I had to make the really difficult decision right then and there, and I had to say, I think I'm gonna have to put him down because I don't want him suffering anymore. He says, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I'm like saying, "Yes." I says, "Okay, all right. I think what you're doing is the right thing. I do not want you to feel guilty about what you're doing because you are taking care of him. You're taking care of him for the good, so he doesn't suffer anymore." So I had to make the very difficult decision on putting my little Charlito, my Charlie, down. So the doc came in, says, "Okay, I'm going to have you sign some paperwork authorizing everything, and I'm going to give him a tranquilizer so he relax a little bit. And then once the tranquilizer kicks in, I will come in and we will give him the other injection." So my wife and my son came with me, but they were not in the room with me. They stayed in the waiting room. So I texted my wife, says, "Please come in here, and you gotta go. You gotta say goodbye to Charlie." So she came in. Now, a little bit of side story here. My wife was already through putting a dog down many years ago. Before she went off to college, her dog, Sabina, was very ill, and unfortunately, she had to make she was forced to put her dog down. I didn't want her in the room for any of this. I was going to deal with this, but she knew how much I really cared about Charlie. She loved him too because he came to live with us in his later years. So this was as hard as her as it was really for me. So I asked her, "Come in here, say goodbye to Charlie, and bring in my son. Bring in our son." So she came in, she kissed him goodbye. She said she loved him very much, and I told my son, "Hey, buddy, look, Charlie's not feeling well, so he has to stay here, so he can feel better. So I need you to do me a favor. I need you to say goodbye to him. Give him a kiss and a pat on the head, and tell him you love him." And he says, "Hi, bye, Charlie. I love you." And I had to have them leave. And then after they left, and they gave him a tranquilizer, I immediately called my mom, because he lived with my mom and my sister and myself in our apartment in Queens for all those years when he first arrived. He first arrived to us as a puppy, no bigger than a couple of bundle of my socks. Okay, now for those of you wondering, how big is that? Well, picture a size 10.5 foot. Okay, crew socks. They go past your ankle, but not all the way up to the knee. Okay, take a couple of those, bundle them up together, and that's what Charlie was when he first arrived with us. She was a gift from a now ex-boyfriend of my sister's to my sister, and he grew up with this since then. I watched him grow. I watched him have fun. We've trained him to go on the paper. He was always an indoor dog, and whenever he did go out, he would love it. But he was essentially my sister's dog. And I know I'm going off topic, but I just want to give his whole story leading up to this. So he lived with my mom, my sister, and myself in our apartment in Queens. and he grew up with us. He grew up knowing everybody, practically everyone in the building. He was always a riot. He would love watching pay-per-views with me because I would always give him like a piece of Dorito, or he would sneak in a lick out of my glass for orange juice because he loved orange juice. He loved bananas, and we were all living together, all together. I moved out to move in with my now wife. We were dating at the time, boyfriend girlfriend. So I moved out of the house, but he stayed with my sister and my mom in the apartment. And then my sister got engaged, and then she moved out. And my sister didn't want to take Charlie with her because she didn't want my mom to be by herself. So Charlie stayed with my mom. And they were together. They loved each other. He would follow her around. He would bark at her asking for water, or he would let her know when somebody was close to the house. 'Cause I don't know how he knew whether my sister was coming to the apartment or whether I was coming to the apartment, but he would already let her know, look, hey, somebody's coming. He would be barking at the door, and then sure enough, 5 minutes later, we're showing up, which is absolutely amazing. The connection that Charlie had with all of us, and my mom would take him to get his hair cut at the groomers in a little shopping, like a little portable shopping cart, but not really a shopping cart. It's like the shopping carts that we would use when we would want to put groceries in and bring them home, not the official shopping carts that like the Key Food or any of those places would have. And then my sister had her first child, Nevin. So there were times where my mom would have to babysit Nevin. So the cool thing about this was Charlie never once barked at him, never once tried to bite him, anything at all. He was his protector. So wherever Nevin was, whether he was in his bed or he was on a changing table, he was always right there. He would lie right next to wherever he was situated to protect them. And they grew up having fun. Charlie would always try to take away his food whenever he got a little older. But Nevin and Charlie had gotten to know each other. And he grew up, and then my sister had the twins. And she, at times, would have to babysit the twins and Nevin, or one set or the other. And at that point, my mom couldn't deal. It was too much work for my mom to babysit the kids and take care of Charlie at the same time. And around that time, my wife and I had been talking and thinking about getting another dog. So I put it out there as like saying, if you have no objections, we would like to take ownership of Charlie and have him live with us. Now during this time, we already had Smokey. Smokey is the other dog. He is the younger one of the two of them. We adopted him at North Shore Animal League in 2007. He was 11 months old. So if you could do the math, he's 10. I'm looking at him right now. He's sleeping right next to me on the couch. And and he already knew Charlie because they've met before. I made sure that they were introduced, and they've always had, excuse me, from the beginning, they've always had this love-hate relationship that turned out to be a loving relationship in the years to come. So he came to live with us here up in Upper New York in the rurals, and we would take him to the vet. We would have fun with him. We would take him to the park. He would walk with us. He would refuse to walk when it's raining outside because he didn't like his patas, his paws, getting wet. And he hated the snow, while this big one here next to me, Smokey, loved the snow. But he always had fun with us, and he knew to stay away from Smokey whenever he got too excited. He would go under the table because he would always get trampled on. And during that entire time, he he was treated with a lot of love and a lot of warmth and happiness here with us. And then fast forward to this past Saturday, I had to call my mom and put her on speaker. I says, "Mom, I need you to say goodbye to Charlie. He is not gonna. He's gonna get put down today, and I want him to hear from you." So my mom got really emotional. She said her goodbyes to Charlie, and told him that he was going to be okay, that she loved him very, very, very much, and she's going to miss him, but she'll always have him in his thoughts. And I hung up, and I had to make the hardest call after that. It was to call my sister, the original owner of Charlie, and I got her. I'm so blessed that I was able to get her on the phone right there, and I said, "Sandy, I need you to do me a favor." My sister's name, we'll call her Sandy just for the sake of argument. Uh, you're gonna have to say goodbye to Charlie, and I already heard her in her voice, her heart breaking. But she was able to get it out and say her goodbyes, and hung up with her. And at that moment, I was talking to Charlie, and for some reason, I felt that he was I knew he understood every single word I was saying. So I said, "Please forgive me for making this decision. I just really didn't want you to suffer. Um, and I love you very, very much. It breaks my heart that you're not going to be here with us anymore. But I promise you with everything in me that I will take care of the family. I will take care of the baby. I will take care of Diego. I will take care of Sarah, my mom, my sister. I will take care of everybody. I need you to know that I really love you very, very much, and you've made me a better person because of the love that you've given me. I know I can continue giving to many, many others." And I said all that, and in his last act of loving kindness, he licked my hand, and as if he was giving me a kiss goodbye. And I kind of broke down at that point right there of him saying goodbye to me like that. And I only just recently washed my hand that Sunday evening. Yeah, I took a shower and everything. Yeah, I'm not that dirty, but I really didn't want to wash away that that feeling, and I knew I had to, and I had to wash off that one speck of blood that he had on his tongue when he kissed me. And I told him that I loved him very, very much. And the doctor came in with the assistant. They lifted him up. They put a nice, comfortable blanket underneath him, and they shaved off a little bit of hair off of the back of his leg, and proceeded to give him his injection. And shortly right after, it was probably the longest minute and a half going in my head. And his eyes closed, and the doctor just checked his heartbeat, and he basically just looked at me and he says, "Yep, he's gone." And I lost it there for a second, and he consoled me, and told me that you made the right decision. Um, it was very, very important for you to make this decision. I know how difficult it was, because he was a companion. He was more than just a dog. He was a member of the family, and you did what you had to do to make sure that he didn't suffer. And please do not go crazy, because I've seen a lot of people live with regret for the decision that has been made by you making the call and taking the life away from a living being. I don't want you to look at it that way. I don't want you to see it that way, because what you did was an act of kindness for him, so he wouldn't suffer. I'm like saying, I knew that I needed to do something for him so he wouldn't suffer anymore. So I don't have regret, because I also had been doing my research during the week. God forbid if it had to be at that very moment, am I committing a sin? And a lot of the priests that I've spoken to, that I have gotten in contact with, they said, if you're doing this because the animal is suffering and is in pain, then it is not a sin to take care of them. It's a sin that if you're abusing them and you're hurting them for no apparent reason whatsoever, which I would never ever do to any animal. Ask anybody who knows me really well. I love animals. I love dogs. I love cats. I love birds. I love snakes. I don't really care very much for cockroaches and mosquitoes or anything that is going to bite me and make me sick. Otherwise, in general, I love all living beings. Humans as well. I just love everything, living beings. So I'm an animal person. So I knew I wasn't going to feel regret for that at all, or feel guilt for taking a life away, because I would be doing it for the right reasons, because they're suffering, and my Charlie was suffering, and I had to make that call. So he left us at exactly 2:30 p.m. and I made the decision to go ahead and have him cremated, so this way I can actually scatter his ashes in a location of my choosing. And by my choosing, I actually really mean the choosing of the family, because I want him. I know he's happy. I know he is up in the heavens above. I'm a huge believer of when you pass here, you go to heaven. I know that he is in the heavens right now, running around, humping the other dog that I mentioned earlier that had passed away. Also a family dog of my wife and her family, Blue. He's trying to dry hump Blue right now, and running around with another person who saw him grow up as well. He was one of the janitors at the old building where I lived with my mom and my sister. Roger. I know he's playing around with him. He's really happy, and he's meeting my dad, who's also up there as well. So he is having a glorious amount of time. What's really killing me, besides the fact that he is gone, that's obvious. I'm really upset that he's no longer here. Yes, it was 15 years with one of my best friends, one of my members of the family. He was a member of the family. Despite the fact he didn't have a social security number, he never went to work. All he did was eat, pee, and poop. But I loved him nonetheless. He was truly a member of the family. What hurts the most is my son got really attached to him, very, very attached to him. He loved him. He knew that he was one of the creatures who would never try to take away his food, unless it was like a sneak attack. So if my son actually had his hand and put food somewhere down on the floor, Charlie would ninja his way around, pick it up, and run with it, and then you would never see him. And it's like, where's Charlie? And then you look underneath the table, or you look in the bedroom, and there he is eating what my son would have left behind. Assuming that this big one over here, Smokey, wouldn't have taken it. He's always looking for him, and he knew that Charlie wasn't feeling too good. He's like, Charlie's sick. Charlie not feel good. So now it's trying to adjust to telling him, hey, he's feeling much better now, but he can never come back home. If you ever want to say hi to him and say you love him and you miss him, just look up to the sky and says, "Hi, Charlie, I love you," and just do that. And he's been doing that, which is great. It's making me feel a little bit more upset because it makes me miss him a hell of a lot more. But but I'm glad that I don't have to make that distinction to him that he is dead, and I feel much better about that. As long as he knows that he's alive up there, which he is, he he won't be sad. So I told you this story to lead into what a lot of you guys have been doing on my Twitter feed and my Facebook page. You guys have been sending me direct messages because you guys saw the post. I put it up on Twitter. It was an image of the post that I've created on Instagram. And you guys have been sending me direct messages saying that you were sorry for our loss, that you understand what it is that I'm going through, because most of you actually had pets that you've had to put down or have died of natural causes, and they didn't get to be put down, but they were suffering, and you were commending me for doing the right thing. And a lot of you, most of you, have been offering to give us a dog, a housebroken dog, and that's how I know that you guys are awesome, and that most of you have been subscribing and telling everybody about the podcast, because it was an overwhelming amount of messages being sent, and I love you guys for that. Thank you so much for the offer of getting us a dog. As much as I would really love to have another dog, another tiny dog, right now with baby number 2 on the way, and trying to prepare everything here in the house, and, and I'm not saying it's stressful, but the stress that can be that can occur with the arrival of a child in general, to try to get the house ready, to get the house clean, with any possible stress that either myself or my wife or both of us may be having, whether with family or with work or with personal stuff, and taking care of the dog, and we have my son's goldfish. It would just be too much, and I would feel horrible that we would get that dog, and that poor dog, despite the fact that he may be housebroken and house trained and everything, this dog will not get the love and the attention that it deserves because of the baby and everything going around here. So as much as I would really love to have another dog, right now it's not humanly possible to have one. Now, after the baby is born and the baby is a little bit older, we will probably reassess our situation at that point and discuss adopting another dog. And because of my love for the North Shore Animal League is humongous. Shouts out to the North Shore Animal League. Thank you for everything that you do. For those of you who do not know what the North Shore Animal League is, it is the largest no-kill pet shelter in New York, specifically in Long Island, and that's where we adopted Smokey. And I've never regretted it since. I promote the hell out of them on my Facebook page. If I ever see their truck in their city, their adoption truck in the city, I always visit. I try to make it a purpose to visit. Try to make it a purpose to meet the dogs, promote them on my social media, and I try to convince people, listen, you guys are doing the right thing adopting. If you're considering of adopting, please do with them. They will take care of you. They will give you the right guidance and the right advice, and which is what they did with me and with Smokey. Um, so yeah, I would go back to North Shore Animal League and I would adopt another pet from them. I would definitely adopt another dog from them, another tiny house trained, housebroken dog, and that dog would get the love and support, and he would be very happy with us because Smokey here, he's so happy with us, and he would get the love that it deserves. But that will be in the future. As of right now, that's not going to be happening right now. So yeah, this was very, very relieving to be able to do this because I didn't really have a chance to mourn the loss of Charlie. I almost did. I almost was able to mourn him after everything happened, and we came back home. My son was in the living room. My wife was in one of the other rooms doing something or other, and I went into the bedroom to take a couple of the pictures that I had taken the night before uh, putting him down, and the picture that I took with him when he was lying down on the gurney in the vet's office before getting the tranquilizer, the selfie that I took of the two of us together. And I put those pictures together and I posted up on Instagram with that huge, huge blurb. And after I sent that in, I just broke down in tears. And I didn't fully get all of it out because my wife came in. And I know she's going to hear this podcast and she's going to feel so guilty. And I just want her to know, please don't feel guilty for any of this. But it felt like my morning at that point was sort of interrupted because immediately my something in me clicked that I have to be okay. I have to stop crying because I need to be strong for her. I need to be strong for my son. I need to be strong for my family. So I didn't really get the chance to finish the morning, and I spoke to a really, really good friend yesterday at work, and she was telling me that when she had to put her dog down, she wrote. She wrote a lot of poetry. She says it's a lot of bad poetry, but she wrote a lot, and it helped her. And I was like saying, I feel like I need at least an hour of just pure crying or something or other. And because of today's circumstances, it could not allow me to go into work today. This was probably the best thing I could have done to do this podcast and to talk about it and get it out of my system. And you know what, guys? I'll be completely honest with you. I feel better. I really, really do. I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I'm a little bit happier. Yes, I'm still heartbroken because you can't just get over the fact of losing somebody that's been a part of your life for such a long time and just like turn it off like a switch. It's like that's not happening. I know in time I will be better, but I think this has helped me a great deal. And the Lord always works in mysterious ways. It's really weird that what happened today that prompted me to stay home and take care of what I need to take care of at home, that this opportunity just presented itself. It's like I said, I just said it before, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Things happen for a reason. So I'm grateful. I am very, very grateful. So guys, thank you very much for listening to me vent for almost half an hour about Charlie. Charlie, I love you with all my heart. I miss you like crazy. I know you're having a blast up there, running around, eating, sleeping, pooping, peeing, and sleeping some more so you can get a good night's rest. We miss you a lot. And I'll see you again. I'll see you again someday. Okay. Usually, as you guys know, in my podcast, I do three things. I talk about the random thing on my head, I talk about some sort of technology thing, and then we go right into the wrestling thing. Okay? So let's throw this first part, this whole dedication to Charlie, as topic number one. Now we're going into technology. Now I know I'm going to sound like a broken record when it comes to technology, but really, right now, in technology, there's so many things that are going on right now, and I really want to stress how important it is for you to always be safe when you're going on the internet. Okay? There's a lot of emails coming out that actually look like legitimate emails from businesses and companies trying to get information from you because either your account got hacked or there's a dispute or something of the sort like that. And I really want to stress out the importance of never opening an email that you are unfamiliar with. Case in point, a friend of mine received an email in their Yahoo about something that happened with their Bank of America account. And it's not an unknown thing to do. A lot of banks will actually send an email to the person who has that email address on file. But what was puzzling about this is that they noticed when they hovered the mouse over the link, it was redirecting to some weird link that had, instead of a .com in front of it, or instead of having the HTTPS in front of it, it had some sort of connection to RZ, like as the extension. So instead of like www.yahoo.com, it was like www.comeseethis.zr. So it looked a little highly suspect. So they asked me, does this look like it could possibly be spam? Like saying, listen, do you have the best practice is the following. Do you have an account with, in this particular case, Bank of America? It says yes. Okay, good. Why don't you go to the Bank of America site directly, open up a browser, type in bankofamerica.com or whatever the website is, log on there and check out their secure messages. Because if something really did happen and you logged on to the official Bank of America website or Citibank.com or Chase.com, your official banking institution's place, you will get a notification right then and there, either right in your face, hey, your account has been compromised, or you'll see a messages button up there that says click here to view your secure message, and it will tell you if in fact you did get compromised. The other thing that I personally like doing best is picking up the phone and calling your bank. Hey, listen, I received this email, but I'm a little bit concerned about its legitimacy. This is what the email says, and they will confirm to you whether or not the email is legit. They will probably even ask you, please forward that email to our spoof at blah 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 dot blah 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 whatever, and we will analyze the email. Sure enough, that was a spam email that looked extremely legitimate, and that if you clicked on it would ask you for some information, some banking information, and it would have stolen your identity or stolen money out of your account or something or other. So it is very, very important to never open up an email that looks suspicious. Okay? This goes without saying. If you get an email from, let's say, Amazon.com. Most people have Amazon.com accounts. Some people don't. If you're getting an email from Amazon.com of a purchase that did not go through and you need to log in to update your credit card number, and you know for a fact you do not have an Amazon.com account, that should be a red flag to press delete on your keyboard to delete that email. Don't try clicking on any links. Okay? I mean, if you click on the link still and you know you don't have an Amazon account, come on, you really deserve to have your information stolen. That's just common sense there. But if you know if you have an account with either a banking institution or Etsy.com or any website, and you questioning the legitimacy of their email, go directly to their website, click on their customer support panel, put in a request, hey, this email looks suspicious, or pick up the phone and contact the location, contact the company, and let them know. And if it's a legit email, they will tell you, okay, this is legitimate, you can go ahead and click on it and just follow the instructions there. Or they'll say, no, it's not legitimate, forward this to us, we will investigate, or they'll tell you just delete the email. Okay? Same goes for any calls that you receive on a telephone. It says, we've detected that your computer actually has a virus and we are calling to help you out, and they claim they're from Microsoft. Let me tell you this. Microsoft is a billion-dollar corporation. Okay? They have millions and millions and millions of users. Do you really think that they're going to call you to tell you you have a problem with your computer and they want to help you? No, that doesn't happen. No, they will not do that. Okay? Despite the fact of how much Big Brother is watching, they really don't care that much. They will not reach out to you. So if someone calls to saying that they got an alert that your computer actually has a virus, and they claim to be from Microsoft or from Toshiba or from Apple, hang up the phone. Okay? Then call your local authorities and let them know, I just got this call, and this is the number that it says it came from if you see a caller ID. And they'll investigate. They have a cybersecurity, terrorist, anti-malware, cyber team to take care of stuff like that. Okay. Now, in addition to that stuff, it is also very important that if you have a free email service like Outlook.com or Hotmail.com or Live.com, Yahoo, Gmail, I don't know what other ones are out there. If they offer two-factor authentication, make sure you turn that on. So this way it's a lot harder for hackers to break in to your email and send emails on your behalf or spoof your emails. Okay, what does spoofing emails mean? It's the emails that will be sent as if they were coming from you to other people to click on the links to do malicious stuff. Likewise, they can actually email you information that you would click on to steal information off of you. So by enabling two-factor authentication on these email services, it will greatly decrease the chances of your email accounts getting hacked. And the third thing that I actually want to point out, and I can't stress this enough, please try using a long password. Make it anywhere between 8 and 10 characters long. Okay? Make sure you use uppercase letters, lowercase letters, include some numbers in there, include some miscellaneous characters in there, and don't make it as obvious as password $123 or anything that has your name in it. So if your name was John Smith, don't make it John Smith 1975. Try to make it as complex as possible. 8 to 10 characters will do. It's a lot harder to crack. And two-factor authentication on these. And if you don't know how to turn on two-factor authentication, Google is your best friend. Just type in two-factor authentication in Gmail or two-factor authentication in Yahoo. You type that in, you're going to find great instructions on how to do that. Just follow that and you're set. And as far as other stuff that's going on in technology, guys, there's always a battle between the iPhones and the Androids. You all know where I stand. I really love them both. Right now I currently have my iPhone 6s Plus. I'm in love with it. It's great. It's working well. I also have the Google Nexus 6P, 128 gigabytes. It's been wonderful. It's been terrific. Do I have a preference between the two? Not really. I like them both very, very much. They're both very, very reliable. But do I have a suggestion? It's the same suggestion that my past podcasts have been. And if you want something simple that is easy to use, that doesn't require a lot of know-how, get yourself the iPhone. But if you want something more bang for your buck, that's offering you free unlimited space on their cloud, get yourself the Google Pixel. Because not only will you get the storage that is located on your phone, you will get unlimited storage with Google Photos and Google Drive if you get the Pixel. Right now, the only carrier that's actually offering the Google Pixel with their bloatware is Verizon, but you can go to google.com, search for the Google Pixel, and you can buy it from Google's official Google store, and you can take that phone to any carrier you want and get it set up that way. But the Google Pixel right now is the phone to get if you love taking pictures, if you want space, and if you want more bang for your buck. If you buy the iPhone 7, let's say between the two, the iPhone 7 128 gig phone versus the Google Pixel 128 gig phone, you will probably pay about $300 less for the Pixel than you would for the iPhone 7. And that's just the honest truth. Apple is great and it's extremely expensive. You can get an even greater phone for not a lot of that much more money. So it's just a simple truth. It's simple math, simple economics. Do a side-by-side comparison, look up the information online, print them out, and just see. You're going to see that the Pixel does everything that the iPhone does and even more for practically a hell of a lot less. All right, technology out of the way. Let's talk wrestling. Now, due to what happened this Saturday, I wasn't able to go to Pro Wrestling Magic, but I heard that the event was absolutely amazing. Pro Wrestling Magic is definitely a wrestling organization that I want to keep going to and check out their shows. So hopefully in the future I'll still be able to go to their shows, even with the baby around, and enjoy watching them. Like I said, I really wanted to be there this past Saturday, but it wasn't in the cards. It really wasn't in the cards, especially with what happened to my dog. But these guys are great, and I need you guys to check them out. They're great. They're really great with their people, and they're great with their fans. And I had a lot of fun when I was there, for sure. And I am looking forward to being able to have much more fun with them. So check them out on Facebook. Go to Facebook, type in Pro Wrestling Magic, and check out their upcoming shows. And I'm hoping that Pro Wrestling Magic will have a video on demand soon. Even if they don't have it soon, I am willing to buy, hint, 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 Pro Wrestling Magic, I am willing to buy their past shows on DVD. You just tell me how much it is. I will write you a check. I will send you a PayPal instant transfer money. Because I definitely want a copy of the event that I was at, where the Twisted Sisters were at, and I definitely want a copy of that puppy. But I also want to be able to see all the previous ones and this past one that took place this Saturday. So hint, hint, hint again, Pro Wrestling Magic, definitely the company to check out. And hopefully they will have a video on demand up soon, or they will offer the past events on a DVD that I am more than happy to purchase. The other organization that I am hoping and praying to be able to catch live, and I'm kind of excited to talk about this one. Capital Wrestling. Now, Capital Wrestling is going to be live and in living color. They will have digital streaming TV taping on Saturday, March the 25th at the Cathedral Hall on 380 Montgomery Street in Jersey City. Now, go check them out on Facebook, Capital Wrestling, and you're going to see their card. Their card is looking very, very good. And just go watch the show, be a part of history. It's going. I'm really, really, really hoping that I can actually be there for this. And if I'm there and you guys see me there, just come by and say hi. Who knows? I might give you a shout out on the podcast, on the Facebook page. We might get selfies together. I mean, hey, who doesn't like a good selfie, right? We would have fun. We would have fun at the event. And the other cool thing about that is not only if you manage to get there early, and you could learn about the business, because they're holding a seminar that it's hosted by Kevin Kelly and Preston Quinn. Now, I've always loved Kevin Kelly. He always looked like an amazing human being to begin with. And on top of that, all the experience of all the organizations that he has worked at, the fact that he is going to be hosting this seminar along with Preston Quinn. By the way, if you don't know who he is, shame on you. Just go ahead and Google Preston Quinn and check him out online, and you'll know who he is. They're going to be hosting the seminar, and whether it's in the ring, in front of the camera, or all points in between, you'll get first-hand knowledge from two men with over 30 years of experience and the opportunity to perform on the Capitol Wrestling Live at the Cathedral Hall later that evening. So check out how much those tickets are and how much the seminar is for, and I guarantee you're not going to be disappointed. Like I said, I'm going to do my very, very best to being there. I'm looking forward to enjoying some great wrestling and a great time with great friends, and I'm looking forward to seeing a couple of people in particular, hopefully meeting a heck of a lot of others. If you do see me there, chances are you'll either see me front row seats, or you'll probably see me by the color commentating table. Either way, I'm going to have the best seats in the house if I'm there. So go check out Capital Wrestling on details on how to get tickets to the event. But I'm very, very excited about them. I want nothing more than the best for them. So, like I said, this is going to be the year that I'm hopefully going to be able to attend more independent professional wrestling organizations. And I've already went to one, and here's the time to actually go to another. As far as the WWE is concerned, I am actually very, very impressed with how the Raws and the SmackDowns have been lately, and their most recent pay-per-views. And I think somebody has actually stepped up in their storylines. It's actually made me want to watch both now. And I'm just so happy right now for people like Kevin Owens. Shouts out to Kevin Owens. He's like probably one of the best heels in the business right now, and he can talk like no one else right now in this business, and he is the guy right now. I don't care what anybody else thinks of him or says about him. He is the guy, and I would give anything that I could possibly give to finally meet him, shake his hand, and say thank you for making me love professional wrestling once again. He has done an amazing job. I've seen him in Ring of Honor, on all the DVDs that I have purchased, and any of the events that have been streamed online. I've seen him in the independent scene. I've seen him grow and grow and grow, and he is absolutely amazing. And I'm so happy for the people like freaking AJ freaking Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe. I mean, the list goes on. I am so happy that they are doing amazing in the WWE. And you know what? It's about time the WWE executives finally woke up and realized that there was talent, extraordinary talent like these guys, and that they deserved to be a part of the WWE. They've earned their right to be in the WWE, and now they're finally home in the WWE. I'm loving NXT. I am digging NXT. You guys know my love for Asuka. Holy fuckballs, am I in love with that woman? And I freaking love Ember Moon. She is incredible. I've never seen that type of character before. And Bobby Roode and Eric Young, and oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. This is a great time to be a WWE fan, because they finally brought back what's been missing, and that was great wrestlers. Ever since, I know this is cliche to actually say this, but ever since CM Punk left, and Daniel Bryan was forced to retire, it hasn't been fun. So I would catch the shows here and there, but during those times, I would actually much rather read about what the results were, and if it piqued my interest, then I would actually pull up from the DVR, watch the show, or tune into the WWE Network and watch the highlights of Raw or the highlights of SmackDown, and that would be that. But now it's actually making me want to make sure that I'm catching it live when it happens, and it's making me want to actually watch the pay-per-views now. So whoever is doing the writing now and whoever's making these decisions now, my hat's off to you. If I find out that Kevin Dunn is the one who's actually doing these, then you know what? I will eat my socks and take back every bad thing I've ever said about that asshole. But for now, he's still a dickhead to me. But if Kevin Dunn is the one who's actually done and rewrote all of this and really thought about bringing in all these guys, and if he's the cause for me wanting to watch the WWE again, then I will literally eat my socks. I will record an Instagram video, a Snapchat video of myself tearing into a fucking sock right then and there. I will eat it, I will swallow it, and I will chug it down with water and say, all right, he's got me. Okay? But until that day happens, until I find out who that is, whoever that person is that's writing the stories, great job. Keep up the great work. And that's pretty much it about the wrestling stuff. Now, normally, at this point in time, you would be hearing my outro theme song to end the podcast. But this time around, I actually wanted to do something a little bit special. This is a song that I really, really like very, very much. There's no copyright intended. I've done my due diligence in letting people know, the appropriate parties, that I was going to be using this song not for profit, but as a dedication. This is dedicating for anybody who's ever lost someone and they missed them very, very much. Here's this song for you guys.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Why'd you have to leave so soon, yeah? Why'd you have to go? Why'd you have to leave me when I needed you the most? 'cause I don't really know how to tell you without feeling much worse. I know you're in a better place, but it's always gonna hurt. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. How do I breathe without you? I'm feeling so cold. I'll be waiting right here for you till the day you're home. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. So let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again, see you again. When I see you again.
I love you, Charlie. Take care, everybody. Be safe.